Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a major development that has sent shockwaves through the geopolitical landscape and the ongoing war in Ukraine, a massive explosion that destroyed a critical part of the Crimea Bridge, also known as the Kerch Strait Bridge. This isn't just another attack or isolated incident. This is a significant escalation that could change the dynamics of the war, disrupt vital logistics, and deal a powerful blow to Russian President Vladimir Putin's strategy and image. To begin, let's understand the importance of the Crimea Bridge. Completed in 2018, this massive 19-kilometer bridge links mainland Russia to the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. It was an enormous engineering project, costing billions of dollars and widely celebrated within Russia. For Putin, it wasn't just about infrastructure. It was a powerful political statement, a symbol of Russian authority over Crimea, and a critical supply route for both military and civilian traffic. The bridge allows for the transport of troops, equipment, fuel, food, and other essential supplies to Russian forces operating in southern Ukraine, as well as serving as a crucial economic lifeline for Crimea itself. So when news broke of the massive explosion that tore through the bridge, the reaction was immediate and intense. Images and videos quickly surfaced online, showing a fireball lighting up the night sky, twisted metal, collapsed road sections, and flames engulfing fuel tankers on the railway span of the bridge. Parts of the bridge's road surface were completely destroyed, and the damage to the parallel railway bridge, which carries heavy military equipment, was significant. It was a stunning attack, not just in its physical impact, but in its psychological and strategic implications. Initial reports suggest that the explosion was the result of a well-planned attack, potentially involving a naval drone, an underwater charge, or a vehicle-borne explosive device. Russian officials have been quick to accuse Ukraine of carrying out what they called a terrorist attack, while Ukrainian officials have made no direct claims of responsibility, instead hinting that the bridge is a legitimate military target. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has previously stated that the Crimea Bridge is a structure that must be neutralized if Ukraine is to regain full control of its territory. And this incident may well have been part of that larger strategy. This is not the first time the bridge has been targeted. Back in October 2022, a similar explosion caused significant damage and disrupted traffic for months. But this latest explosion appears to have been even more impactful, not only because of the destruction caused, but also because of the timing and the increasingly vulnerable position of Russian forces in southern Ukraine. The Ukrainian military has been steadily targeting Russian supply lines, ammunition depots, and command centers as part of its broader counteroffensive strategy. Hitting the Kerch Bridge again fits perfectly into that plan. It slows down Russian logistics, reduces the ability to reinforce frontline units, and creates logistical headaches for the Kremlin. From a military perspective, the destruction of the bridge severely complicates Russian operations in southern Ukraine. Much of the fuel, ammunition, and heavy equipment for Russian troops stationed in places like Kherson, Melitopol, and the Zaporizhia region is transported through Crimea. With the bridge now partially or fully inoperable, those supply routes are disrupted. Russia will now have to reroute supplies via longer land corridors, which are more vulnerable to attack and less efficient. This can lead to shortages on the front lines and reduce the effectiveness of Russian military operations. The strategic implications go even further. By targeting such high-profile infrastructure, Ukraine is demonstrating its ability to strike deep into occupied territory and inflict real damage. It's a message to Moscow and the Russian public that the war is not confined to the front lines. It can reach into what Russia considers its own territory. This has a powerful psychological effect. The Kremlin has worked hard to portray Crimea as permanently integrated into the Russian Federation, with stability and security guaranteed by Moscow. When explosions rock that illusion, it creates fear, uncertainty, and political pressure. Economically, the bridge's destruction also hits civilians in Crimea. The bridge is a key artery for the transport of consumer goods, food, and fuel. With it damaged, shortages are likely to increase, prices will go up, and public frustration could grow. For a population already facing the challenges of living in a heavily militarized and isolated region, this adds another layer of hardship. Ferry services and other temporary workarounds are being implemented, but they cannot match the efficiency and capacity of the bridge. Politically, this is a major embarrassment for Putin. The Kerch Bridge was a signature project. He personally inaugurated it, driving the first vehicle across it in 2018. Its destruction is not only a physical blow, but a symbolic one. It shows the world that Russia's grip on Crimea is not as firm as it appears. For Putin, who has staked much of his domestic legitimacy on projecting strength and restoring Russian power, especially through Crimea, this is a significant setback. Domestically, it raises questions among Russian citizens and elites about the competence of the military and the security of the homeland. Internationally, it further isolates Russia and strengthens Ukraine's position in diplomatic discussions. Ukraine's reaction to the attack has been one of quiet confidence. While officials have avoided taking outright credit, the tone from Kyiv has made it clear that Ukraine sees this as a justified and necessary part of its war effort. The attack on the bridge aligns with Ukraine's broader strategy of attrition, wearing down Russian forces, cutting off their supply lines, and making it increasingly difficult for Moscow to sustain the war over the long term. It's a long game, and every disruption helps to tilt the balance. It's important to note, however, that attacks like this do carry risks. Russia may respond with heightened aggression. We've seen in the past that when high-profile attacks occur, especially those that cause embarrassment to the Kremlin, Russia tends to lash out with missile and drone strikes against Ukrainian cities and infrastructure. There is always the danger of escalation, especially if the Kremlin feels cornered or humiliated. The international community will be watching closely to see how Moscow chooses to respond. At the same time, the destruction of the bridge could also shift public perception inside Russia. While the state-controlled media has tried to downplay the impact, it's difficult to ignore the scale of the explosion and the images that flooded social media. Russians who believed the war was far away and wouldn't touch their everyday lives are now seeing critical infrastructure damaged, and that narrative of strength and invincibility is beginning to crack. Dissent, while still dangerous in Russia, may slowly grow as people begin to question the direction and cost of the war. In terms of rebuilding, experts suggest that repairing the bridge could take months. The level of structural damage is significant, and with the war ongoing, there's always the threat of repeated attacks. The longer the bridge remains out of commission, the more strain it places on Russian logistics and morale. And given Ukraine's increasing capabilities, including long-range drones, naval drones, and advanced Western weapons, there's no guarantee the bridge will remain safe even after it's repaired. For the Ukrainian people, this event is more than just a tactical victory. It's a moment of hope. It shows that their military can hit back, that the territories taken in 2014 are not lost forever, and that even the most fortified parts of the Russian occupation can be challenged. It's a powerful symbol of resistance and a reminder that this war is about reclaiming not just land, but national dignity. So, where does this leave us? The destruction of the Crimea Bridge is a major blow to Russia, both practically and symbolically. It weakens their war effort, embarrasses their leadership, and strengthens Ukraine's strategic position. But it also raises the stakes: how Russia responds, how Ukraine capitalizes on the moment, and how the international community continues to support Kyiv will shape the next phase of this conflict. Let us know in the comments what you think about this massive explosion. Does this signal a turning point in the war? How will Putin react? And can Ukraine maintain the momentum in the months to come? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.